You guys maybe already spent a lot of energy, but let's do it one more time. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you so much. For those who didn't know me, I'm Fatima Zahra, and I'm the president of Indonesian Student Association of International Studies, or usually called as ISAFIS. So for those who are new to our community, or maybe there's someone who knows about ISAFIS, who knows about ISAFIS before Jaemin? Is there anyone? Is there anyone knows about ISAFIS from the delegates? No? From this side, is there anyone knows about ISAFIS? No? Okay. So since all of you guys seems really new to ISAFIS, ISAFIS is actually an organization that is completely run by student, mostly college student. We are welcoming student from bachelor degrees or graduate degree, like Mbak Chaula usually is our members. And ISAFIS has been around for more than 4 decades. This year is actually our 42 years of being around. So it's been a while. It's been a while, and we have a lot of big alumni coming from our organization. Like, do you guys listen to any music from Ramen Girl? Do you guys know who Ramen Girl is? No? Okay, maybe do you guys know about Mr. Anis Baswedan? Yes, do you guys know about Mr. Anis Baswedan? Or maybe our minister, Mr. Fadlizon. Do you guys know Mr. Fadlizon? From this side, no? And those are ISAFIS alumni. They are coming from ISAFIS, training their leadership ability, and because ISAFIS has always been have this idea, have simple idea. We want to foster a dialogue about global politics, but also we also want to train our leadership skills. And the reason why I'm here is because I got that opportunity. I get the opportunity to train my leadership skills in ISAFIS. And how to make it into a reality from Jakarta International MUN. Do you guys know that Jakarta International MUN is actually one of ISAFIS program? Yeah, someone noted. From this side, do you guys know Jaemun is actually one of ISAFIS flagship programs? So Jaemun is a independent part from ISAFIS, and from Jaemun, we hope that all of these ideas from ISAFIS to foster global politics and training leadership skills for the youth can come to life. This is why Jaemun is here. And since this is already in the middle of, we're reaching the end of the event, right? I just want to enough introduction from ISAFIS. I want to talk directly from all of you guys. I know maybe a lot of you already joining MUN competitions for a while, or there are someone who's new to MUN. Is there anyone new? Oh my God, thank you for the enthusiasm. Who's new from in MUN? Or maybe this is their first time. That's amazing. You guys have to know that. Thank you so much for raising your hand. Thank you so much. There's a lot of new guys here. And I just want to let you know, guys, MUN can be tough sometimes. There's a lot of tension and there's a lot of pressure in it, right? There's a lot of rule procedures, the position papers or drafting papers, and the negotiation itself, or maybe when you got a country that you have to represent that have a ideology that is contradictory from yours. It's gonna be really hard, right? It's gonna be really hard. Even someone who already doing this for multiple times can still make mistakes. But that's it, guys. This is a place to make mistakes. So just do it. Get out of your comfort zone. And I just want to let you guys know that this is not always about winning. And here we are training our diplomacy and negotiation skills. So it's not always about winning, but it's about gaining experiences. Do you guys know what diplomacy is? What is diplomacy actually? Okay. What's diplomacy?
I guess diplomacy would be about like contributing to a nation's work with nations outside of the country.
Yes. Thank you so much. That's a great answer. Give a round of applause for. Sorry, what's your name?
Fabio.
Okay. Please give a round of applause for Fabio for answering my question. Okay. Thank you so much. That's a great answer, but that's kind of a major scope for your explanation. Actually, diplomacy can be more can happen in a smaller scope too. Like this. Diplomacy, from what I believe, diplomacy is contained from three things. First, is listening. In order for you to do a diplomacy, the first thing you have to do is listen. Listen to your opposition, listen to your opponents or rival, whatever you name it. You have to listen. That's the first thing you have to do. And the second one, you have to be able to show empathy. That means you, other than listening, you can understand what your opposition says or want. And the third one is finding common grounds from it. And how to finding common grounds from it? You have to listen, right? So diplomacy is about pushing yourself down in order to understand what others want. So you can find that common grounds, right? Okay, maybe you guys already know what diplomacy is, or maybe you guys understand more about it more than me. So since pretty late already, that's all from me for this middle, I don't know, some advices to you guys. I also want to give my appreciation for the committees for the tireless work that you guys have put to this event. Thank you so much. I really acknowledge all of the effort you have put in this event. And maybe that's all from me.
Able to make away something meaningful from the experience.
Yes. So I believe that was such a wonderful experience and was hoping that everyone had a great time exploring, creating, and discovering something new today. And of course, would like to extend our deepest gratitude to Museum Mandiri as well as Circle 8 for making this event possible.
Absolutely. We would also like to give another special shout out to the Museum Mandiri and the Circle 8 for making today's cultural fair such a memorable experience for all of us. Thank you for being part of JMUN 2026.
Yes, absolutely. Now that everyone is now back in their seats and settled, we will continue with our one more segment of today's event, Bang.
Beyond celebrating culture and bringing people together, creating a meaningful conference also means fostering a space where everyone feels safe, respected, and heard.
Yes, with that in mind, we will now move to an important session on sexual violence prevention, which will discuss the importance of awareness, prevention, and building a safer environment for everyone.
Okay, Nonlila, without further ado, let us welcome our speaker, Miss Felicia Rebecca and Miss Hannah Gloriana Hutagalung, who will be sharing valuable insight with us today.
Please give a round of applause for our speakers for today, everyone. The stage is yours. Check, check. Okay, hello, good afternoon, everyone. May I hear you guys' voice? Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. It's nice to meet you guys. First of all, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Hannah.
And my name is Felicia.
And we are from FISIP UI Anti Kekerasan Seksual, or known as FISIP Antiks. Next. Okay. So what is FISIP Anti Kekerasan Seksual? So FISIP Anti Kekerasan Seksual is an independent organization that is advocating through sexual violences awareness so that everyone in FISIP
Universitas Indonesia or Faculty of Social and Political Science will be aware of it, and also it's a way to prevent any kind of any kind of sexual violences. And we focus more on restorative approaches and also transformative justice. Next. Okay, before we actually start the material, I want to inform you guys, this is a trigger warning because the materials will contain a lot of sexual violences. So if you guys don't feel comfortable to listen to it, then please say to the committee or notify the committee immediately and you can take your time. Next. Okay, so first, we want to have this little game with you guys so you guys can answer, is this a myth or is this a fact for the following sentences that I will read out loud. So you guys can answer like, is it myth or is it fact? Only with one word, myth or fact. Okay, so the first sentence is, sexual violence is caused by the victim's behavior. Myth or fact? Okay, the next one. If the victim does not resist, then what occurred is not considered as sexual harassment. Myth or fact? Okay. And then the last one, sexual violence can only happen to women. Is it a myth or is it a fact? Okay, thank you so much, guys. Next. Yes, it is all myth. And to know about it more, we actually need to take a look at the definition of sexual harassment itself. So what is sexual violence? Sexual violence, according to Permendikbudristek, or we known as at Minister of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology, Regulation number 30 of 2021. Sexual violence is any act of degrading, insulting, harassing, and or attacking a person's body and or reproductive function based on power relations and or gender, which results in or may result in physical, psychological, and or sexual suffering or distress. So maybe before we tend to think like if it is a sexual violence or a sexual harassment, then there's need to be like a physical evidence to it. But no, it's not only about physical evidence because it's also include degrading, insulting, and even more harassing or attacking a person's body and or reproductive function. Next. Okay, these are the forms of sexual violences by the laws, of course. So the first one is non-physical sexual harassment, and there is physical sexual harassment, and many more. And the thing that we want to highlight with you guys is sexual violence don't need to be like really physical, like go into physical, like attacking someone's body. Just like what we said before, even when you making jokes that is regarding degrading someone's body or someone's autonomy, then it's already a sexual harassment anyway. So there's other things like forced marriage, sexual torture, sexual exploitation, rape, etc., etc. Next. And then there's also act violating child or adult pornography. And then there's sexual violence within the household and any other criminal act that is declared as sexual violences. And it's different by the laws, like Indonesia and probably some of the other countries have different laws regarding to sexual violences. But these are the forms of sexual violence in Indonesia. Next.
All right, next. Yeah. Okay, now moving on to the power relations. So, one important concept that we need to understand when we're learning about sexual violence is that sexual violence doesn't always occur between two people who have equal powers. So, relations refer to a situation where one party holds greater power than another, whether of gender, age, position, or other circumstances. And this difference can place the person with less power in a disadvantage. The perpetrator may use their position, authority, influence, or other forms of power to pressure the victim, restrict their choices, or place them in a situations where they find it difficult to refuse, to let go, and to protect themselves. So maybe, for example, imagine a situations where one person has authority above another person. Even if there is no like explicit physical force, the person with less power may feel pressured because they're afraid of the consequences. They're afraid of losing an opportunity. They're afraid of what might happen if they refuse the greater power. So this is why power relations are important. And then in the slide, there's intersectionality. So in intersectionality, a person can experience multiple forms of disadvantage at the same time. And these different circumstances can affect how much power or vulnerability they have in a particular situation. Next. So here we have the sexual violence pyramid, or we call it as like rape culture pyramid. So at the base, we have normalization. This includes like jokes or comments that normalize rape, sexual harassment, or even sexual violence. These behaviors may sometimes be dismissed just as a joke, but and considered harmless because they do not immediately look like it's a violence. However, normalization can contribute to an environment where harmful behavior becomes easier to tolerate, to overlook. The next category is harassment. So this includes behaviors such as secretly peeping, secretly photographing, or take a video of someone, and exhibitionism. And then we have violation of bodily autonomy. So this includes like sexual pressure, unwanted touching, violations or of sexual agreements, threats, and even drugging. And the last one, at the top of the pyramid, is physical violence, which is includes assault, murder, physical violence, verbal violence, and even neglect. We have to pay attention to the behaviors at the bottom of the base, because this can make sexual violence easier to normalize, to get excused, or to get ignored. Next. Okay, then what happened after someone gets sexually assaulted? So, the effects of sexual violence are not necessarily limited to the moment when the incident happens. As shown on the slide, survivors can experience impacts across several areas like thoughts, emotions, behavior, and even social functioning. First, in thoughts, survivors may experience difficulty trusting others, low self, and then difficulty to remember and others. And then in emotional impacts, a survivor may experience shock, shame, confusion, afraid of everyone else. And this is particularly important for us to understand that the emotional response to sexual violence is not necessarily straightforward. And then the third is the changes in their behavior. So maybe they will be like have difficulties carrying out daily activities, avoiding people, feeling depressed, or even engaging in like risky behavior. And the last one is the social impacts. So a survivor may have difficulty functioning as usual. Like I said before, they are in a difficulty to trust others and avoid certain people or environments. Next. All right. This is a very, very important part of this presentation. So I hope you guys pay attention to this. It's about consent. So what is consent? Consent is a statement that someone voluntarily engages in sexual activity without coercion or pressure to perform a particular act. We use CRISP. CRISP is an acronym. So the first is considered. This refers to the ability to think and make decisions freely. Consent cannot be considered valid when someone is being threatened, coerced, or when their ability to make a free decision is compromised. The second one is irreversible. So this means that consent can be withdrawn at any time. Someone can agree to something and then later they change their mind and they say no, and you must respect what they say. And then the third one is informed. All parties need to understand what they are agreeing to. In other words, people need to know what they are actually consenting to. Uh, the first one is specific. So consent needs to be clear and not generalized. So if one person say yes to one thing, that doesn't mean they will agree to everything you did or everything you say to them. And finally, it's participatory. So all parties needs to be involved in the decision. Uh, it is so. And then I want to highlight. I know that there are a lot of you guys here are underage, below 18, even like 13, 14, 15 or something. So, consent, the crisp consent doesn't apply if you are under 18 or when you get threats or when someone abuses you or maybe when someone is under the influence of medication, drugs, alcohol, or when someone is sick, unconscious, or even asleep. So maybe I think you guys really need to understand this because I know maybe there are a lot of you guys who doesn't understand yet about consent. So please maybe take a picture or something. Okay, next. All right. So what happens if you see sexual violence is on the act? So this brings us to bystander intervention. We will introduce you to 5 approaches, which is direct, distract, delegate, delay, and document. The first is direct. This means directly addressing the situations when it is safe to do so. So please note, you have to do this if you are safe. If not, then don't. So for example, a bystander may intervene verbally when they see behavior that crosses someone's boundaries. The second one is distract. So maybe instead of directly like confronting or interrupting the person involved, a bystander can interrupt the situation by like creating a distraction or changing what is happening. Maybe you can change the topic. Maybe you can like call the victim or something. The third one is delegate. This means asking another person or an authority for help. So, for example, if you do not feel safe, if you do not feel capable of handling the situation yourself, you do not have to like deal with it alone. You can involve someone who is better positioned to respond, maybe like older people or like security and else. And then the fourth one is delay. Sometimes maybe it is not possible for you to intervene immediately. So in that situation, a bystander can still take action afterward. So for example, maybe you can take the victim to somewhere else, save her, and away from the assaulter. And then maybe you can check in with the person affected and offering support. And I need to tell you that you need to limit the physical touch on the victim. And finally, it's document. This means recording relevant information about what happened when appropriate and when doing so doesn't create additional harm to you or to the victim. So the important point here is that bystander intervention doesn't mean that everyone has to confront a situation directly. Maybe in document, you can document it and then afterwards you can go to the victim and tell them that, oh, I have the documentation of this. Do you want to report? I can send it to you. And then if they don't, so please directly just delete it from your phone. Next. So here is the Jakarta International Model MUN 2026 Equity Report form. So this provides to to the channel of equity related to of sexual violence. So if you guys are a victim, if you guys
Don't feel safe.
yeah, if you guys don't feel
Something
safe,
happened
if
to
guys-
you.
yeah, if it happens to you, please take a picture first. And then if something bad happened to you, which I don't really hope so, you can report it by this form. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe
That's all from us, FISIP UI Anti Kekerasan Seksual. Lastly, please don't forget to always make a safe place for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Felicia Rebecca and Miss Hannah Gloriana Hutagalung for the insightful and meaningful presentation.
We are truly appreciate the time and effort you have shared with us today. And of course, we hope that the knowledge and perspective from the session will encourage all of us to be more aware, respectful, and committed to creating a safe environment for everyone.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, what an incredible, flawless start to our journey. And over the next few days, we'll witness powerful ideas, bold negotiation, and friendship form across borders.
Because the stage is set, the console already, and the world is waiting for a solution. Make every speech count, and above all, enjoy every single second of JMUN 2026.
Please give a round of applause, everyone, because we are heading towards the end of our event today. Thank you so much, everyone. So to all delegates, chairs, and advisors, good luck. Have an amazing conference and let diplomacy prevail. All right. On behalf of the entire organizing committee, I am Non Lila,
And I am Bang Ardan.
and we are signing off from the opening ceremony of Jakarta International Model United Nations 2026. Thank you.
everyone.